I don't think we have seen Shakur face anyone higher than who he's gonna face next, and that's of me. So, I definitely, commend him at least for stepping up to the plate. But I think it's time. I think it's really that time for him to really take his first loss and, me whoop his ass to the point where either he quits on the stool or I knock him out.
Teofimo Lopez matched up directly with Shakur Stevenson in a live head-to-head showdown.
It was interesting. What did you make of his vibe overall?
I think something mentally wrong with him. I don't think he's like all the way there mentally. I think he's crazy.
Legit?
That's my opinion. Yeah, I think he's legit crazy. I think something really wrong with him, but that's what make him dangerous. I think them the guys is the most dangerous people. Them delusional, crazy people who want to be the best and want their spot at greatness. So I gotta respect it, but I think something is definitely off.
You could sense the tone change instantly when he said, "This isn't keyboard talk anymore. This is real boxing." Teofimo brushed off the social media back and forth, basically saying, "We've gone at each other online long enough. Now let's do it where it actually matters." That moment hit different because it didn't feel like rehearsed promotion. It felt like someone done with words and ready for action.
Where he talked about people are going to see my power. They talk a lot about my defense, but they're going to see my power in this fight against Teofimo.
Shakur is slow. He's slow. I seen him at lightweight. I seen only highlights of his last fight with Cepeda, and he's slow. He's really slow. There's nothing more to it than that.
Even if they're not friends, but they know each other like that, one of two things always happens. Okay. Either it's a sparring session or it's brutal.
This ain't gonna be no sparring session. This is not gonna be no sparring session.
What's it gonna be?
He's coming to win. I'm coming to win. I guarantee you that.
I'm coming to conquer.
You're not conquering shit.
Tell us.
You're not conquering.
He even tipped his hat to Shakur, though not without an edge, acknowledging that moving straight to 140 without any warm-up fights takes guts and a willingness to leave the comfort zone. But you could feel the counter coming. Teofimo didn't hesitate to say he plans to hand Shakur his first loss, and that the fight won't play out the way Shakur expects. It's that familiar Teofimo swagger. Confidence pushed right up to the line of fantasy, but that's always been part of who he is.
Shakur is a very talented, skillful, technique fighter.
Yeah.
Can't take anything away from it. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world. Scared to get touched up in front of the world.
Are you saying that off of the last fight or just
in general?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
In general. Me and Shakur sparred before. We did 3 rounds, and it was just light work. And me trying to figure out his jab. Does he have a good jab? Yeah, he does. But once you pass his jab, it's game.
Yeah.
It's food. It's lunch food.
Then he unloaded the real bomb. He said facing Shakur means turning the fight messy, because trying to outthink a technician just leads to dull rounds and coin flip scorecards. He completely dismissed the idea of Shakur being the best offensive fighter in the sport, pointing out what he believes are clear weaknesses. Teofimo even labeled Shakur slow, questioned the hype around his speed, and argued that Shakur hasn't yet shared the ring with anyone on his level.
He's just coming right to the guy, and that's me. The king of the 140 division, super lightweight division, that's Teofimo Lopez. And, he's willing to step up, get out of his comfort zone, and yeah. I give him that. However, it's not gonna happen. I would love to, and I see myself giving him his first loss in his professional career.
Teofimo Lopez says that he's going to fight Shakur Stevenson dirty.
Stylistically, when you see a fighter like him, it is not illegal to do certain punches and throw certain punches or hit certain areas.
I heard that concept from an icon.
That's depending on how masterful he is. You have to be dirty. You gotta be rough. You have to use the elbows, head, bend it up. You have to use everything. This guy, as far as his style is concerned, this guy's a master.
And right on cue, Shakur responded with that quiet, controlled edge of his, saying things like, real speed doesn't need promotion. It arrives when it's supposed to. He added that everyone thinks they see openings until punches start sailing past them, which, honestly, lands harder than any trash talk. Meanwhile, Teofimo doubled down, talking about pushing for a stoppage or a knockout now that he says he's found his fire again, especially after the Times Square moment, which sounds bold, if not borderline reckless.
I can't be too technical with Shakur. You gotta make it a little ugly. You gotta make it a little ugly. If you try to be too technical with Shakur, it could be a long too long of a waited chess match. You know, certain people don't want to see that. They don't want to see pop shots. You know what I mean? They want to see good action. You know, I don't think, for me, for say, I don't see Shakur having the best defense in boxing. However, you know, others can attest that. So, you know, I just can't wait to really show the flaws that I see in Shakur Stevenson and, you know, really putting that to the test when that time comes.
And while Shakur Stevenson isn't Floyd Mayweather, many still view him as one of the most technically refined boxers in the sport today. That's why Teofimo Lopez openly saying, "I'm going to do things that might look rough, but they're within the rules. I can't box him clean. I have to disrupt everything." Matters so much. The real question is whether Shakur can stay effective when the fight stops being orderly and turns unpredictable.
And though Shakur Stevenson is no Floyd Mayweather, he is considered probably the most superior, technically sound boxer in the world. So with Teofimo Lopez saying, hey, I'm going to do things that people may think is dirty, but it's legal. I can't fight in a very sound sportsmanship manner. I have to create chaos. And maybe Shakur Stevenson, maybe he can't operate in the chaos.
But that kind of self-belief is exactly what turns a fight into a risk. Shakur fires back by saying the weight may change, but the mindset doesn't. And that training around Crawford doesn't inflate ego, it tightens focus. This isn't just words being exchanged. It's two fighting philosophies colliding head-on. Disorder challenging precision to slip first. And make no mistake, when they finally meet, one man's confidence is going to get tested in real time.
Crawford in the past, and you know, Crawford stated, "Oh, you only got to me."
Yeah, but he really want to fight Crawford, and we're gonna call him out after we beat up his boy. You know,
that's the game plan. Even though you guys have, even if he requires you,
well, he ain't gonna fight us, man. He ain't gonna fight us, man. We've been chasing this guy for the longest. My son is even willing to go up to 160 to fight him. You know, listen, speed kills. You know what I'm saying? Speed kills, and that's why we're gonna beat Shakur. He ain't faster than us, and we're gonna catch him.
And after Teofimo and Shakur spent all that time flexing confidence back and forth, Robert Garcia stepped in with a calm reminder that noise doesn't score rounds. Results do. He labeled it a strong matchup, and what I appreciate was how measured he sounded. Because when a trainer like Garcia says great, he usually means risky for both sides. He respected Teofimo's resume and Shakur's pursuit of history as a potential three-division champion pushing toward a fourth, then shifted the focus to what fans often overlook: mental strength and ring IQ.
Teofimo has had some great performances, great wins. Shakur is also a three-division champion going for his fourth. You know, unbelievable talent. It's a fight where you know, we're gonna see talent from both. But we also have to see heart. That who has that heart to become the man.
Garcia basically made it clear this fight won't be decided by who looks smoother online. It's about who plays the situation better and who cracks under pressure first. That's such a trainer's perspective, and it hits when he admits the fight might not be nonstop chaos, yet still have everyone on edge.
If Teofimo comes in at his best, because we've seen some great performances, but then we've also had those questions about Teofimo's mind, mentality in boxing, his future. So hopefully we get the best Teofimo, the Teofimo that wants to be the best in the world, because we know Shakur is one of those. Shakur always comes in as best he wants it.
Teofimo shines when chaos bends his plan. Shakur excels when chaos isn't allowed in at all. That distinction matters, because we rarely see two elite fighters meet at the same time. No excuses, no 5 years too late storylines. I also noticed Garcia quietly highlighting that heart matters as much as IQ, a subtle reminder that even a chess match in the ring demands nerve under clock. This fight isn't just about dominance.
That fight's gonna be more about who's smarter, who plays the better cards, and who doesn't make mistakes. Because it's gonna be one of those fights where we might not have too much action, but we're all gonna be standing up because we want to see who's gonna land and who's gonna be the one that finds those punches to land. It's a very interesting fight, and they're both in their prime. They're both, you know, that's what
boxing is about.
Right after Robert Garcia laid out that calm, grown-up blueprint about composure and decision-making, Mikey Garcia jumped in like someone who's been inside the puzzle and knows it doesn't come with instructions. He didn't act like there's some secret formula to beat Shakur, and I respect that, because when he says it's hard to predict, it's honesty, not avoidance. Mikey pointed directly to Teofimo's size and time at the weight, basically saying, if you've got the bigger, stronger advantage, you don't ignore it, you use it, because leaving it in the locker room doesn't help anyone.
To kind of deal with a guy like Shakur Stevenson, how would you approach a fighter like Shakur Stevenson if you were Teofimo Lopez with the attributes that he has?
I would think Teofimo, being that technically he's a bigger fighter, bigger size, he's been at the weight class a little more, and then just maybe build into it more. I would think he would have to use that, size as an advantage.
Essentially, Mikey was saying that while Teofimo might have a size advantage, Shakur is a type of fighter who can make strength feel almost theoretical if you can't control where he is in the ring. When he called Shakur one of the most skilled boxers around, it wasn't hype, it was a caution. Talent like that doesn't bend to anyone's will. I also caught the deeper point in Mikey's tone. He wasn't focused on power punches or highlight moments.
I would think he would have to use that, size as an advantage. But it's hard to say because, Shakur Stevenson's so fucking good at what he does. Defense is on point, speed is on point, footwork is on point. And, he's really one of the best skilled fighters out there. So it's hard to say, oh, this is what you gotta do. No, it ain't easy, trust me. But being Teofimo, again, if he's bigger, naturally stronger, then he should try to use that, to his...
Right after Mikey Garcia suggested this fight hinges on whether Teofimo can mentally embrace being the bigger man, Andre Rozier jumped in sounding like a coach already 10 moves ahead on the board. When he talked about this matchup, you can tell he's not impressed by stats or favorites. He immediately frames it as a clash of polar opposites. He described Teofimo as a sharp, heavy hitter, and Shakur is precise and methodical. Basically, one guy breaks doors, the other picks locks. When Rozier emphasizes that it's not just raw action, but who executes their strategy better, he's not downplaying excitement.
The thing you have to remember about defensive fighters is that they are looking to set up a counter. That's what most defensive fighters do anyway. And he can't wait for those things to happen. He has to be busy, and he has to be tenacious. That's how he can stay ahead of the defense. Because if you make me miss once, you make me miss twice. If I throw 5 more, it's very difficult to make me miss 8 points.
Now I want to hear from you. Who do you trust when the pressure hits? The fighter who can deliver a knockout on the right night, or the one who consistently gives 25 every single time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.